Well, there it is. Donald Trump just gave his victory speech. Here is the TLDR on what he said. We have thousands of friends. It was a beautiful movement. Nobody's ever had a greater political move. He actually did say those things. It took like an hour waiting for him and like another hour to get through it all. But let's get to what he promised. He says he's going to focus on healing the country. He wants to focus on fixing the border, and he wants to thank the American people, and he promises that he will fight every single day. He does say that he wants to start what he believes will be the golden age of America. Now, I want to quickly throw in a tangent there and say the only thing that could really derail that, because think about it, Donald Trump now has the House, as is called now, the Senate, as it's called, and he won the presidency. This means you have a red sweep. This means for the next 2 years, you can do whatever you want almost. Cabinet appointments, Supreme Court justice appointment, or replacements if necessary. After you get your cabinet in place, you could also, you've got the Speaker of the House clearly on your team. You can put together whatever legislation you want. You have 2 years. Last time they did the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. If now you want to do changes to infrastructure, they talk about removing the Inflation Reduction Act. They talk about potentially cutting the CHIPS Act. They talk about potentially cutting the green energy investment tax credits for not just manufacturing batteries, but also buying electric vehicles, the electric vehicle mandate, all of that gone. Tariffs potentially on foreign countries. European stock markets are down. Chinese stock markets are down as a result of this, mostly because you're pricing in tariff concerns. Obviously, in America, you've had a rally in risk assets, but there's also this downside risk that you could end up running into some profit taking. For example, we hit 75.4 earlier in the day, all-time lifetime highs on Bitcoin, and now we're already rotating down. I'm probably going to be watching this 71.246 line. Wouldn't be surprised to see some retracing here. But see this little QR code? Actually, I don't think there's a QR code on the portion you're seeing, but go to meetkevin.com/alpha and you'll be able to, for free, get my alpha report on exactly what trends I'm seeing and what lines I'm watching. So check that out, meetkevin.com/alpha. But let's keep going with some of the data, because what he talks about with bringing about this golden age is possible as long as you don't have a recession. That would unfortunately be not a great look. Look, it's ironic enough that a lot of inflation was created during the COVID era, and Donald Trump didn't have any inflation under his first term, even though he contributed to the inflation. I'm not saying Biden didn't also contribute a lot to it, but I'm just saying, like, because of the lag in inflation data showing up, it wasn't under Trump's first term. Now it's been mostly solved during the Biden term, you know, by Powell and higher rates and finally some form of limit to spending. Not really. I mean, you're still going into deficit like crazy. But inflation has started coming down, at least the level of further growth. And so I always said 4 years ago, the biggest irony is that you have no inflation under Trump, and then you have all the inflation under some other president in between, you know, after Trump, and then Trump comes back to no inflation. And that's actually, like, you know, Elon Musk says the most ironic outcome is usually the outcome that occurs. It's sort of like Kamala Harris is now going to have to certify the election. Some people are calling that poetic justice. Other people are saying it part of her job, or saying it's just part of her job. Other people are saying, oh yeah, that's ironic. But anyway, you could do a lot here with a fully controlled Congress and essentially fully controlled government. I mean, you've got, frankly, the Supreme Court on your side. So you have all branches of government. You have all power here. The biggest thing that could derail you is when all these election workers get off work and all of the temporary seasonal workers that we have hired go back to unemployment from their Amazon jobs or their seasonal jobs or whatever. Like the S&P and PMI reports this morning, you know, markets are like, yay, employment's up. Well, then you actually go read the reports and it's like, oh, seasonal employment is up. Got it. Anyway, so there are some real risks still in effect for the recession potential. And Donald Trump won't be in office until the third week of January. Okay, well, Donald Trump's second week in office, we'll be getting the February jobs release for January. That's when you get the report of seasonal layoffs. And now, obviously, you would expect to see some of those disappear in the seasonal adjustment because it happens every year. People get laid off in January. But how much more this time because you had an election that also led to layoffs, right? It's hard to have a seasonal adjustment for poll workers because that only happens once every 4 years. That's probably why in September we had this giant boost of 785,000 government workers out of nowhere on a seasonal adjusted chart, not including school teachers going back to work. It's probably election workers because you don't capture that in the seasonal adjustments. So anyway, the real risks for the Trump administration, and it's not actually really fair for him because he could literally just start work, and then on the second week of being back at work, you get a negative jobs report, and all of a sudden everybody's freaking out about a recession and the stock market tanks. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying he can't do anything yet, right? Like, it's November 5th. You're not, well, in 1 minute, it's going to be November 6th. I'm on a almost 13-hour live stream here. But anyway, Donald Trump talks about this greatest political comeback. J.D. Vance mentions, comes up to the mic and says, we're going to create the greatest economy. Again, subject to recession risk here, which timing's not going to be super pleasant to them on that. Donald Trump says J.D. Vance has turned out to be a great choice. Then reiterates that we want people to come into the country, but they have to come into the country legally. So we want to seal up the border and then invite people back. This is sort of a little bit of a shout out to the idea of deporting people and then inviting them back. I don't know how popular that's going to be. Some people do argue that deportations could actually be inflationary. That's ironic because a lot of people think, wait, how's that inflationary? It would just allow Americans to take those jobs and doesn't that like sort of balance things out? And most Wall Street research suggests no, it would actually be inflationary to have fewer people working in the economic engine. Anyway, that's really a topic for a different video. Trump tells the story of watching Elon's rocket land, and it's really interesting seeing the difference between like Trump telling a story and then like Dana White coming up. Because on one hand, you're like, I was sitting there and I was on my phone and I told the person on the other end to just hold on. And then you get Dana White up there and it's like, oh, he's down in the second. He's pinned. Just the energy was so crazy and different. But really, it was pretty classic Trump, and people were like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, we're back to now 4 years of Trump's sort of like tangent ramblings. And some people are like, wow, it's kind of like 2017 to 2021. Beginning of 2021, it's like the old days, so to speak. Everybody's got a different opinion here, but he does take this opportunity to shout out that he's going to work with RFK to make America healthy again, work with Elon Musk, obviously, on innovation on that front. As long as you don't touch his oil, he wants to do whatever he can to really expand that oil industry. You are seeing oil prices actually drop on this idea that there might be more U.S. supply. Brags about how we have so much more oil than like Saudi Arabia, for example. And then he says, promises made, promises kept, nothing will stop us now. And it's time to get divisions behind us. And this is actually really interesting because he has so much control, he could legitimately just make a one giant bill, basically, with the control that they have. It could be part of a budget bill or whatever. And they could do a lot, from tariffs to deportations, to oil and infrastructure, to killing the Inflation Reduction Act, to killing EV tax credits, to killing battery manufacturing tax credits. I know Tesla is rallying in after hours on the idea of potentially Elon being involved with the government. Over this idea that Tesla's going to bankrupt all the competition. The competition's basically already bankrupt. I mean, you look at any other EV manufacturer, they have terrible balance sheets. They barely stay alive. Lucid stays alive because of billions of dollars of Saudi oil money, getting pumped into them for diversification. Rivian loses money like crazy. Ford loses money on electric vehicles. They all lose money, so it's like you're comparing. It's like, it's probably insensitive as a comparison, but it's just the easiest one I could think of. It's kind of like all of your competition is already in the Special Olympics and you're in the normal Olympics. It's already not fair. So, now you just took away I was going to say crutches, but I feel like that's even more insensitive. Anyway, bottom line is, I'm also running out of energy here, and Sleep. Gotta go to sleep. I've been up for way too long. I was up at 3 a.m., okay? It is now midnight the next day. But anyway, I don't know how that's going to play out. You know, they make a lot of money on megapacks. You know, their margins are probably 12 to 30% larger on megapacks and batteries because of the Inflation Reduction Act and the energy infrastructure spend and tax credits. You know, Enphase will probably get slaughtered tomorrow. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So we'll see. It's going to be pretty crazy, but we'll see what the pre-market does, and we'll have our alpha report. So make sure you get your alpha report. Go to meetkevin.com/alpha to get that free report at, should be out by 6:15 a.m. And yeah, they've got the capacity to now fulfill their promises. So, you know, really what could hurt them now would be a recession. Let's hope there is no recession. I just want to be clear. I don't want there to be a recession because, like, I want to just take HouseHack public, and I'd rather do that in a time when, you know, a company like HouseHack now doesn't have to worry about higher tax rates. We don't have to worry about, you know, any nationwide anti-landlord policies or rent control or whatever. You know, I actually think the offering for HouseHack that we have over at househack.com just got even more desirable because you just removed all of the Harris risk on that HouseHack was exposed to. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. These are some of my thoughts. And now it's time to go to sleep. So thank you. I don't even know that I'll be able to. Well, we'll figure it out. Anyway, thank you so much, honestly, for watching with me. It was an incredible evening. All of the tens of thousands of you that were watching with me. I just want you to know that while Donald Trump says he's going to be there for you and work like hell for you and your family every day in the Oval Office, I want to be that version. That's on YouTube for you every single day, giving you as much value as possible. I want to do this alpha report. I want to give back. Y'all have done so much for me. I want to give back to you, and thank you all. Seriously, I couldn't do what I'm doing if it weren't for y'all. So thank you. I really appreciate all of you, and you're all amazing. So learn about what we're doing. It's all in the description down below. And oh wow, I'm at exactly 13 hours. I think this is officially now my longest live stream. Well, with the exception of my 32-hour live stream when I ran for governor. Anyway, I'm dead. Thank you, folks. See you tomorrow. Goodbye and good luck.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.